Hi, welcome and welcome back to my channel. This is Kimberly in this little corner of the kingdom. I'm so glad you decided to hang out here for a little while today, where we do zero-based budgeting and cash envelope stuffing while we try to be good stewards of the gifts that God has given us right here in this little corner of the kingdom. So I've already put our cash out today. We have a total of $760 to stuff today. So let's get right to it. Starting with my wallet, I do have a couple of receipts here that I need to scan into my apps. I do use Fetch, Receipt Pal, Receipt Hog, Coin Out, Swag Bucks. I know I'm forgetting some, but I do scan my coupons into all of those apps. The only thing I do have left over today is one single dollar bill in my gas envelope, so we will put that to the side for now. Everything else I've already checked is empty. So starting with, we'll start in the back today with my giving envelope. That will get its usual 5 ones. I am happy to report that I was able to give out all of the ones that I had put aside in this give envelope, in addition to 2 blessing bags this week. I do try to keep these for the folks that I see sometimes on the corner or when I'm driving or whatever. So that money, as I mentioned before, always gets rolled over, and I never take that out to put it towards anything else. Next is groceries. That will be getting its usual 10. Next is my buffer envelope. Whoops, I somehow ended up with my cards for the bank in there. Buffer will get 10 as well. Did use that this week. I did go a little bit over on my outreach spending, which I'll talk about in a moment. Put these cards back into the bank envelope. Next we have spending, and that will get its usual 10. Outreach, as I mentioned, I did go just a little bit over this week. Bob and I do street outreach every Saturday morning in Poughkeepsie with the homeless and addicted folks there. Also the underhoused, food insecure folks, etc. So I will be putting 25 back in there. That is what we budget every single week for that outreach program. We do hand out things like toilet paper, socks, underwear, toiletries, etc. At some point I'm going to do a little video so you can see kind of how I prep for street outreach. I also cook. I provide 2 hot trays of food. The very bittersweet thing, I certainly am living for the day that you don't have to stand on the street corner and hand out toilet paper on a cold Saturday morning. Our gas envelope will get 40. As I've mentioned before, I have quite a commute back and forth to work. I also forgot to mention that I did not have any coins in the wallet this week to pull out, except for a couple of pennies, so we will save those for the next time. Okay, let's get right to our first binder. First, these are basically like long-term bills that come due for us. So the first one is oil, and I routinely put 65 in here. So that will be 50, 60, and 5. And so oil, now has 51, 10, 20, 25, 30. So 130 in oil. We expect that we will be getting oil one more time. It did get really, really chilly here in the Catskills again. So we will need to put some oil in our tank one more time. So let's see, next is propane, which we don't fill very often because we do only use it for cooking. So that will be getting $10 this week. So 20, 40, 50, 60. Costs us about $500 when we fill that, but we just filled not too long ago, so I have a good amount of time to get that envelope up to speed. Terminix is a service that we have living in the mountains. We do have ticks, etc. So we do have Terminix who comes and does routine maintenance for us. So I do like to stuff this envelope for when that bill comes due. So the Terminix will now have 20, 40, 60 because I am putting $20 in there this week. Next is lawn maintenance. We have been really lucky to not have had any more snow that needed to be shoveled. However, it will soon be time to mow the lawn. So starting to stuff this again, and it will get $25, and that is all that it has. We did have to have our guy come by a couple times in a row, so that was down to nothing. Car maintenance will also get $20. As I mentioned, we're going to need new tires at some point, so I'm adding a 20. So car maintenance will have 20, 40, 60, 80, and 85 in it. Next is house maintenance, and I've kind of decided to call this my septic tank envelope because we will have to have our septic tank done at some point, not anytime soon, I hope. But I am starting to prepare for that. So now I will put 10 in, so it now has 20, 30, 40, and $50. We do pay our mortgage and our car payment, our car insurance payment. Everything comes out of our checking account directly, so I do not stuff for those. This says entertainment. It's technically our prime payment, so I do stuff that every month. So when that bill comes due, we will be ready for it. And I'm putting 5 in this week, so it will have $25. Debt. This is where I am taking these ones that I have remaining in my wallet, and after I accumulate a certain amount of money, not sure what that will be, we will throw this towards our car payment or our mortgage, because those are the two debts we are currently trying to pay off. So adding $1, and we are now up to $3 in this little envelope. Okay, and that finishes this binder. Moving on to my other pink binder. It isn't quite so iridescent in the camera. I will not be stuffing pets this week, nor will I be stuffing pet emergency. I did already pull money out of pets and pet emergency, as well as all of the money that I had started putting aside again for just general emergency. We had to make a really tough decision for my little cat Noah this week, most unfortunately. So he is waiting for me at the bridge after 15 years that we were so blessed to have him. So tough week in the house here. My husband especially is so sad over that, because the Noah was definitely his boy. So moving on to our pool fund. That will be getting its usual $100. We would like to put a pool in our yard, hopefully this summer. So pool now has 1, 2, 3, 4, 455, 550, 570, 575. And I do have an email I got from someone about pools, so I'm going to be trying to reach out to them. As I mentioned, the money that I would have put in our savings, our emergency envelope this week, we did use for our sweet Noah, so I will not be stuffing that today. Remodel is going to get 5. I've mentioned before, we don't plan to remodel anything dramatic, but I would like to paint, get some new laminate. So we are starting to put that money aside. So that now has $15. And that is it for this pink binder. Moving on to the lavender binder. This is my holiday binder. Valentine's has clearly passed, but Easter will be upon us shortly. And so I am putting $30 in Easter this week. So that's 20 and 30. So Easter now has 20, 40, 60, 70. This will be for Easter stuff for the kids and the grandkids. I've already picked up quite a few goodies for everyone's basket, so we'll use whatever we manage to get in there. Summer holidays, we're a little further away, so this will be getting $5 this week. As I mentioned, I expect to use this to get things like propane or perhaps some lawn furniture or who knows what. So 10, 20, and 25 for the summer holidays. Maybe just for some cookout items. A lot of these envelopes are new to us, so we'll have to see what we decide to do with that. Food for Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm going to skip this week. I will be going to Christmas event, as I call it. This is a time that my sister and our families get together at a mutual place, like a more central place. And so Sherry and I always do treat for that. So I'm putting money aside already. That will be getting its usual 25 this week. My sister became a grandma again this week, so that was really fun. Or last week, I guess, technically. So Christmas event now has 20, 40, 50, 55, 60, 65, and 70. And then we have Christmas, it says shopping, it's Christmas general. We have a very large family, so I do budget for this all year long, and it will be getting its usual 150. So that's 150. So Christmas now has 1, 2, 3, 354, 455. So I will likely transfer this all into savings account this week and put prop money in here because I don't really care to have all that money kind of hanging out here. So that is the end of that binder. And our last binder, it's kind of like a family binder. I've mentioned before, I do break my birthday gifts up into 4-month increments. So this particular binder is for January, February, March, and April. The bulk of our birthdays were in February, but we do have a couple of March birthdays coming up. So I will obviously stuff this one a little more aggressively than my other birthday envelopes. So this week, this one will be getting 25. And that is all it has, because we did pull out there for all of the February birthdays, which was great. Then this second envelope is for May, June, July, and August. This is also a higher number of birthday months in terms of how many, but this week I'm only putting 5 in there. So now, as I call it, birthday number 2 has 10, 20, 25, and 30. And then finally, birthday number 3 envelope, and this takes care of September, October, November, December, which is where the least number of birthdays falls for us. Oh boy, and this is supposed to get a 5, but I seem to be out of 5, so I guess I will give it a 10 and pull the 5 back from that. So that now has 10 and 20 in that envelope. Education, this is where we put money aside every week for our grandkids. We do have a grandson in college right now. I have a granddaughter taking college level courses in high school. She will be going to college come fall. She also has prom coming up, and we do help the littles out with lunch money. So I do usually put $60 in this every time I get paid. So that's 20, 40, and 60. So this envelope now has 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60. 160 in education. Hard to imagine these kids are growing as fast as they are. It is wonderful and amazing, but still makes me sad in a little bit of a way. So clothing will not be getting any money this week, neither will health. We will be going right to beauty, which beauty for me is actually hair. haircuts for Bob and I. And as I've mentioned for weeks now, I am way past due for a haircut, so I will be adding 20 in here. So haircuts now has 20, 40, 60, so that's probably just about enough for me to get a haircut and have a tip. Also, maybe a few more dollars, we'll see. Gas, this is gas for our car. I do carry some gas money in my wallet, as you saw, but I do keep the other aside here, and so gas will be getting $40, and that's all that it has at the moment. Groceries will be getting, I guess, 5 this week. So we'll put 5 in here, and groceries now has 20 and 5. And you know, I thought I was going to be off by a little bit. I kind of did and redid my my numbers, but I think I still made a slight boo-boo because I do have this 20 left over, and I decided that, in fact, if I did have 20 left over, that I would go back and put it in savings, since we had to clear out our savings, as I mentioned, our emergency. I keep calling it savings, but it's emergency, so I will put a 20 back in there, get us restarted on that. I do keep that money here for emergency type things, as opposed to the emergency account that's in the bank. So the last thing I have is my penny challenge, which we have been working on, and as you can see here, February is completely finished. So for March, I added up a bunch of numbers. I wanted to kind of even it out, because the jar is getting a little bit on the full side. So I am doing today the March 1st. I am doing this whole first week of March. And I am also doing the second week of March. A couple of these you'll see I had jumped ahead and done just based on the change that I had in hand. This brought me to $8.37, and so I wanted to make it an even 10. So I jumped up here to June and did 163, which happens to be June 11th. So that gives us $10 to put into our penny challenge jar here. This has been kind of a fun little savings event to do. So I'll be excited to see how much money we do have in that at the end of the year. Okay, that takes care of that. I did want to give a shout out to Taylor from A Little of It All, as well as Alicia from Saving with Alicia. They are 2 of the cash stuffing ladies that I follow, and they do such a nice job, and they did stop over here to say hey to me, so so nice to see them. And as always, I wanted to finish with the scripture that I am focusing on this week, and this one comes from Luke chapter 6, verse 38, and it does say, "Give, and it will be given to you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap." So as we continue the work here in this corner of the kingdom, I'd like to remember that anything that we do is brought back to us 100-fold by our very generous Creator above. I hope you have a very blessed week, and thanks for coming by.